Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to part 2 of charging a solar sand battery. So anyway, dogs just got fed. Patches was missing all day. He just showed up just as they finished up with their supper. So he hasn't gotten anything really for supper. And I'll have to make sure he gets something to eat so he doesn't go hungry tonight. Anyway, the sun has now gone off of the battery because the tank is in its way, the water tank. But I checked it for outside thermal earlier, and I was getting 98 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's see what we got now. All right, it's already down to 77. And that's 24.8 Celsius. So it's actually, as I go down, it gets warmer. It's 78.5 down lower Fahrenheit. And that's 25.6 in Celsius. So that's what we got just in 2.5 hours. All right. So let's check the inside sand temperature and see what we got in there. Put that in the pocket. And yeah, we did increase the sand temperature inside by around, it looks like about 10 to about 14 degrees. So that wasn't bad for that short time. Now I'm going to do this again tomorrow, earlier in the day, but there's something else I want to try. Years ago, when I lived on the East Coast in New England, I was in construction there, and difference was that instead of in building construction, I was in road construction. And we did things like setting granite curb and pouring concrete sidewalks and driveways, asphalt, all kinds of stuff like that. Now, one of the things I learned early in my years of working in that stuff out there was in the summertime, if you're working with a big pry bar, of course the pry bars are steel, and they're black in color, and I got one right over here. I think I can show you. Let me put the thermometers down and step inside here. And here's one right here. Okay, so it's got a flat side on one side and a point on the other. And they're probably 6 foot long. All right, or just under 2 meters. Well, one thing I learned about that is when you're got to put it down for any reason to use your hands when you were working, you stick the pointy side in the ground and keep it standing up. Because if you lay it down on the ground, when you go to pick it back up, even after just a few minutes in the hot summer sun, you'll burn your hand. And I mean literally blister your hand. It's that hot, that fast. So what I'm going to do is tomorrow for the test, we'll take the temperature, and I'm actually going to lay that thing down on the ground in the sun. And we'll see how much difference I get in the temperature from that. In the meantime, I'm going to move this inside the garage so that it's inside a building. for the night, and I'm going to check it again in the morning to see what the temperature was. So one thing I want to do is, as soon as I get this in place, there we go, I'm going to take the thermometer and I'm going to move the needle to where the needle was pointing, so that we can see the difference when it cools down in the morning. We can see what the difference is. Now that it's inside here, let's get a recording on the tank. 23.6 degrees Celsius. And that's 74 or 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, that's not bad for just a couple hours in the sun. Now remember, I am planning on putting a solar-powered water heater heating element in this thing, and connecting a couple of solar panels up to it for the day, and see what I get out of it that way. So, another thing I did while I was sitting here lazy was I got my waste oil set up there. I put the board that I wanted to put there so that I can put the mount on it. And then the iron pipe that I had coming down wasn't going to work, so I used a piece of shark bite with a shark bite fitting on this end and a plastic fitting of that end. And I'm going to probably wrap this with some type of foil or something like that, just to give it a little insulation from the heat. I don't think it'll be that bad because the heat's going to come out of this and want to go up right away. But over close to here, it may get hot enough to melt that plastic. So I will put something on there to cover that. But it's all ready to go. I got my valves all shut, and I brought in some used motor oil, so I got 4 gallons of it there. And that unit will take 5 gallons, but I'll start off with 4 well, actually, that unit there will take 7 gallons. So I'm going to put in the 4 in that, which will be right about where under it says where waste oil. There's a seam right there on the tank. It'll probably be just below that seam. And that'll be a good start for a testing on this thing. I also cut the pipe shorter so it doesn't hit the ceiling there. There's about a 5-inch clearance between the joint and the ceiling up there. So that's where the next pipe will come down from outside through there and go onto that. Now I'm going to start with a full length of stovepipe up there, which is going to put it up another 6 feet. And I might have to put guy wires on there for the winds. But that's what I'm going to start with. And I can always cut some off the top if I have to and shorten it. But I want to see how it goes with a longer stack and guy wires. That'll be pretty interesting. All right, everybody. That's it for today. This is the end of part 2. There will be a part 3 sometime tomorrow. We'll see how much more charge I can get in that that sand battery. And I've got the naysayers saying use water and all that stuff. This is my experiment, excuse me. No offense meant, but I am going to experiment with this no matter what you say. And I want to see what the outcome is. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there that are watching that want to know what the outcome is. They don't want to hearsay from one person to the next saying, well, no, you got to do this and you got to do that. This is what experimentation's all about, is trying new things. So I'm going to try it anyway because that's just the way I am. As my friend Andy's son always says to him when he tells him to do something, he says, "You know, Dad, I don't think you've noticed yet, but I have a different way of doing things." So, I've kind of liked that saying, so I might adopt it. All right, everybody, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget your thumbs up, share, subscribe, and comments all the way down below. G Bear signing off.